Hi everyone, Grandmaster Ben Finegold here again. Uh, Please visit the website www.aclchessclub.com and consider a donation. Follow me on Twitter, follow me on Facebook. But if I turn around, you better get out of the way. I don't want to see you following me. Okay, so the Norm tournament started, the 2017 Winter Invitational. There's the GM section and the IM section. For some reason, I'm playing in the GM section. My first game was a quick draw, but I'm still going to make a video about it, but probably not till tomorrow. First tonight, I'm going to finish up my last two games from the Pro Chess League last night. Now, I've seen a lot of comments, and I guess I'll talk about some of them here. I'm not going to have a webcam. I've seen it suggested about 50 times. If you're really interested in seeing my pretty face, there's three places. On two of those places, you can't see me. Chess.com and ChessKid.com have a lot of videos by me, but just like these, you can just see the chessboard. If you like seeing me for some reason, you can go to the Chess Club and Scholastic Center of St. Louis, CCSCSL YouTube page, and there's over 100 videos by me, and you can see me in all of them. And in June and December, I'll be making at least 10 more videos each month where you can see me also. Now, the reason I'm not going to do a webcam here is the Chess Club and Scholastic Center of Atlanta, and I've told you the website many times, of our chess center that's opening in September, we're going to have a YouTube page, and that will have a webcam and a camera, and you're going to see all kinds of stuff, more than you wanted to see. Okay, many of you have complained that you don't like my microphone. I don't have a microphone. I just use my computer's microphone. I've listened to my YouTube videos over and over, and it sounds fine. I suggest you get a new computer if you can't hear me well. I'm not going to invest money in a microphone because that would take seconds to set up and would probably cost like $20. I'm not doing any of that. I think the volume is fine. The sound is fine. And if you don't, sorry. Okay, so those are the two main suggestions. I get a webcam and microphone because, you guys like to complain when there's free content. But I like that. Okay, and you do have the right to complain because about 1 out of every 350 people who watches my videos donates $5, so thanks a lot. Okay, so after drawing Djordjevic, I was feeling pretty confident, and I was playing Stevan Djordjevic, who I've never heard of, and I'm pronouncing his name wrong. He's 2360 USCF, and he's 2305 FIDE, and I figured this is the game I have to win. He's their lowest rated player. Okay, so again, I played the Czech Benoni, the closed variation here, and I had this position twice already in the Pro Chess League, wins against Gazzoli and Conrad Holt, grandmasters who were higher rated than I am. Okay, now the next move I thought I'd never faced before, but when I did an engine search, can't even say search. When I did a database search of the move F3, the highest rated game was a game that I had played against Caden the Truth Troph. Caden did play this against me in the 2012 or 13 Chicago Open. I guess it's possible it was 2014, but we'll say 2013 because you guys don't know anyway. F3 is not a good move because it never is. Developing pieces is probably a better idea. Okay, and I played my usual knight F8 to G6. After G3, maybe knight G6 isn't advisable, but it's okay. Okay, and H4. Now the engine wants me to play knight H5 here. And in fact, it wants me to sacrifice a piece at some point. So like the engine variation is knight H5. Obviously G4 hangs the H pawn with check and gives away the F4 square. So bishop F2 is probably best. And I didn't like this because my knight on H5 can be tickled by a move like F4, where the queen is attacking my knight by discovery. But if my opponent ever plays F4, the computer wants me to sack on G3 and take on F4 and take on H4 and all kinds of nonsense. Okay, I'm not going to do any of that. And you know me, I like to play knight H8, so I castled. I got to free the H8 square for my knight. You should donate just because of that sentence. Okay, and he played H5, and I played knight H8. Now I was very surprised by his next move, but the engine likes it. Played H6, and after G6, he doesn't really have a kingside attack, and I'm ready to move my knight off of F6 and play F5. So that seemed like a strange move to me, but the engine always likes white, saying white's +1, +0.8. The rest of the game, it says white's doing great. It really likes when you have a space advantage. Okay, queen d2. I figured after queen d2, he's probably going to castle queenside. Otherwise, why play queen d2? So I played a6, getting ready for b5. And I played bishop d7, getting ready for b5. And now I play the move knight e8 for two reasons. One is to play knight c7, getting ready for b5, and the other is to play f5. And maybe at some point my bishop on e7 will go somewhere good, like, for example, the next move. Okay, so my opponent didn't want me to play f5, so he played g4. I could still play f5, although after the g file gets open, my king might get in trouble. So I played bishop h4 check, he got out of check, and I played g5. And we're totally blocking up the king side, but it seems like my knight on h8 can now get to f4, which it does, and the h6 pawn might be captured, which it did not. Okay, so king c2, knight g6. Here I thought I was better. I thought I was obviously better. The center's blocked. The h6 pawn looks like I'm going to take it whenever I want to. I have the f4 square for my knight. He doesn't have the f5 square for his knight. And if the king side is blocked and the center is blocked and we both play on the queen side, which is what happened, well, his king's on the queen side. So I thought I was doing great, but don't tell my engine that. My engine thought I was much worse. Okay, so knight ge2, knight c7. Again, I want to play b5. And now I really am going to play b5. But my opponent played b4. And I don't want to let him take on c5 because I would lose a pawn. And I don't want to trade on b4 because then he could play c5 later. So I defended my pawn. Played rook h to g1, not to improve his rook, but so he could play knight g3 to f5. Okay, and I played knight f4. He took on f4, which surprised me, but that's the best move. And I wasn't sure which way to take back. In fact, I'm still not. But I took with the e-pawn. That way I can try to get the e-file. I can try to play queen f6 and get the diagonal. And if I'm lucky, my knight on c7 will get to e5. Unfortunately, I was not lucky. Okay, bishop f2. We traded. And I don't want him to play e5 and get the e4 square for his pieces. So I played rook e8. This way I could take with the rook if he plays e5. And rook a b1, queen f6. Again, I thought I was doing great. Computer thinks white's doing great. And after takes, I didn't want to take with the b pawn. Since he has the b file, he could play rook b7, double on the b file. I don't have a lot of counterplay. So I took with the d pawn. Now I thought my knight on c7 eventually could get to d6 or e5. And eventually I could play b5. I guess there's a lot of eventuallys in chess. Okay, he played rook e1. I blocked his e-pawn so he could never sacrifice a pawn and activate his pieces. He played rook h1, saving his h-pawn. And now I really wanted to play b5 at some point. And if I play b5, my c5 pawn is hanging. However, the computer plays b5. I guess if he takes on c5, which the computer doesn't do, maybe I can play rook c8. And there's a lot of stuff on the c file that could potentially get attacked. So maybe that's not good for him. But anyway, I thought I prepared b5 by playing the move rook c8. And he actually played very nicely here. He played king b3, and when I played b5, he played king a2. So his king's pretty safe. He's got a pass d pawn. I can't really do anything of note, so I can see why he's better. Okay, I want to play knight d6, as I've said before. So knight e8, so my knight can go to d6. Took on b5. I played c4, and sacrificing a pawn like I usually do, but my knight got to the d6 square. So actually all my pieces got to the squares I want. I'm down a pawn. I have a passed pawn. I've blockaded his center pawns. His h-pawn is being defended by rook. His king seems really exposed. I thought I was doing pretty well here. The computer says I'm getting crushed. I'm down a pawn. He has a passed a-pawn. He has a passed d-pawn. And my rook on e5 is really blocking all of my counterplay. Okay, rook b6 pins my knight. I retreated my rook, so my queen would have the diagonal, and my rooks would be connected. Rook c1, queen e5. Again, the computer says these moves are all fine, but my game is terrible. Rook c7, I did for a couple of reasons. I can double rooks on the c file and try to push my pawn, or I could try double rooks on the a file. Okay, he played queen e1, which is an excellent move. His queen can't really do anything on the diagonal that was on. It couldn't go to any of the squares that I'm highlighting now in red. So since he couldn't do any of that, he put on another diagonal where his queen can go to a lot of squares. So that's a much better diagonal for his queen. Okay, so I played c3, blocking his queen temporarily. Queen b1, and I thought a long time here, and I didn't like anything. Computer agrees with knight c4, takes, and I'm just down a pawn. I don't really have enough compensation. Rook b4 is good. I tried to avoid. Actually, here he offered me, I think it was here, he offered me a draw, And I didn't really know the match situation because I'm playing my game. It's game 15. I'm not looking at the other games. And I thought I can't draw the lowest rated player on their team. I gotta win one game. So I declined. I don't know if it was right there or the move before, but he offered me a draw right around here. Rook b7. I couldn't find a move here. I couldn't think of anything to do. So I went back to c4. And he played rook a7, which is excellent. He's going to play queen b7 and dominate on the 7th rank. So I attacked his rook. He threatened queen takes f7. I played rook f8, which is a blunder, losing the game immediately. I am losing anyway, but queen f6 continues the game. And now pause your video and try to find the winning move for white, which is what white played. White to move and win. What's the winning move? Well, unfortunately, even if you were wrong, you're probably right, because a lot of moves give white a winning position. But one move really wins, and that's queen e7. That threatens queen takes g5 check, and if you can find the defense to that, you're a better chess player than I am. I can't do anything. I can't play f6, never play f6, because he has mate in 1 2 different ways, queen g7 or queen h7. I can't defend my g-pawn in any legal way that makes any sense. And, man, I lose my g-pawn, my f-pawn's here. I can't do anything. I got nothing. I can't move my queen off of d4 because he'll play queen g5 check and queen g7 mate. So I can't make any threats myself. Okay, so I played rook c8, and I want to play queen c4 check. That was the reason. Okay, he played queen g5, and then I realized, oh, I'm losing immediately. I played king h8, and he made me suffer. He thought for over a minute here. And even before I play king h8, I realized he's winning in one move. Pause your video, because you love doing that, and try to find the move after which I would have resigned. Resigning would have been best, recommended by all engines. Pause the video, try to find the winning move here for white. Once again, every move wins, so that was a tough problem. But the move that really, 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 really wins is actually very similar to my game with MVL. When I was playing MVL, Hikaru was frantically screaming that I missed rook b8 winning, when in fact it does not win. And the idea behind rook b8 in my MVL game was his queen was overworked. The queen was defending b8, but it had to go to f1 to defend mate. And this is the same thing. My queen on d4 has to defend g7. Otherwise, queen g7's mate. So he can just play rook a4. And if you can find a way for black's queen to defend g7, once again, you're a better chess player than I am. After rook a4, I would have resigned. I either lose a queen for nothing, or I get mated in 1. The move suggested by the gawking rabble when I explained rook a4 was the move rook g8. Maybe that's best, I don't know. And then queen takes rook check, followed by rook takes queen. I'm not going to play this endgame out. Okay, where I'm down a rook. So after rook a4, it's over, and I would have resigned. And he's thinking forever, and of course, if he does nothing, I'm going to play queen c4 check and finally get counterplay, probably enough to draw. So I think white has many moves that win, but rook a4 wins immediately. He played queen g7 check. Okay, now I'm just in a dead lost endgame. Okay, and okay, so I'm down a pawn, and all my pawns are horrible, and he has 2 passed pawns, and it's all horrible. Okay, so we played, and I'll get to another interesting point soon. I want to move my king up, but I can't, so f6, never play f6, and king g6. And now e5 is not a good move, although it worked out really well against me, because after takes, I move my king up in the endgame. Are you listening, Karen? And even though I tell my wife, move your king up in the endgame, this is a double-edged sword because I moved my king up into checkmate. But I still drew. That's how strong it is, Karen. Even when I make a move that hangs checkmate, it's still good. So king g7 is the correct move after just I'm a little lost. But I play king g5, losing the game immediately. And now white has mate in 5. Who can find it? Pause your video. Find the winning move. I saw the winning move, but I did not see the follow-up. White to play in mate in 5. Okay, the answer is rook h2 with the obvious threat of rook h5 mate, which I saw, and I intended to take on e5, and now his rook is hanging. So I said, okay, that doesn't work. Well, it doesn't work for one move, he just moves his rook. And now he's threatening rook h5, mate. And once again, if you can prevent mate, you're a better chess player than I am. There's no defense to rook h5 mate. You just give all your rooks away and check, and then you get mated. So there's just the king is totally trapped. Okay, so that would have also won the game for him right away. I don't blame him for missing that. It looks like after rook h2, rook e5, that was just stupid, but he just keeps threatening mate. Okay, so he played rook f5 check, and I keep moving my king up, and I'm still down a pawn, and now I'm down 2 pawns. So I'm losing, but it's like a little losing. Rook a8, and now we both had very little time left. He had a little more than I did, but still, I think we both had less than a minute, so sort of a toss-up. Okay, and I'm losing, everybody's losing, and yeah, now I'm not so losing. Maybe lost, but pretty close to a draw. And here he blundered with rook b5, and I have an immediate draw, but I'm totally insane. So for some reason, I didn't play rook b1 check because of king c2. I think that's actually right. I think that's correct analysis. So I played rook a1, and after rook b4, I didn't see this perpetual I had. I thought after here that he would not play king a3, although I don't know what else he's going to do. So I don't know, I just went crazy here. So when he played king a3, then I was like, well, okay, I'll play rook a1, and he'll play king b3, and then I won't play rook b1 again because he'll do something else. But there is nothing else. This rook a1 is just a draw here. So I played rook e1, which is horrible, and he didn't do anything of note, so I drew anyway. Here I'm probably still losing. And he checked me, and then went back to b4 because I'm threatening rook a1 check. And okay, now I'm like, wait a minute, this is just a perpetual. What's going on here? And this is just a draw. He can't really escape. If he goes to c2 or a2, he hangs his rook. King c4 is the only winning attempt, but then you're trying to lose. So that's not very good. If he plays king b5, and now both rook captures are mistakes, rook b8 check wins for black. So, yeah, he can't try to win here. He can try to lose. Yeah, and I guess he's probably losing here. Maybe king d5 is a draw. Maybe. No, it's not. No, rook d1 check wins. Okay, so yeah, I mean, he has to play king a3, and that's what he did. And rook a1 check, and I don't know if I offered a draw or claimed a draw. I'm not sure. I pushed draw, and the game was drawn. I'm not sure if he accepted or the computer did. So I was incredibly lost several times that game. I tried too hard to win. I played a little too brash. I underestimated my opponent. After the game, my opponent said he was nervous playing me. Very suspicious. Sure, why exactly? I guess he hasn't seen some of my recent games. Okay, so I had 3 draws in my first 3 games. This one was by far the most exciting, and I was the most losing. But I was losing at chess before this guy was born, so that doesn't really bother me. Okay, once again, this is Grandmaster Ben Finegold. Please donate. Please subscribe. Donating is more important. Follow me here. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Facebook. But don't follow me in real life. And the next video will have my tragic last game against Michael Brown. And then we'll start looking at the Winter Invitational Round Robin Tournament, where I hope to get at least 50%. Okay, bye everyone. See you next video.